the GMs, episode 28, Masks of Nyarlathotep Retrospective. Good evening, this is Zach from Ask the GMs podcast. Welcome to another great podcast where we're going to talk about RPGs, focusing on our big portion of Masks of Nyarlathotep. Hope everyone will enjoy this and passing it on to Sean.
Yes, we've completed 3 chapters now. And we're still live. Woohoo! Passing on to RC.
Hey everybody, we're surprisingly sane, resilient group of survivors. Are we lucky? No. I'll pass it off to the other current survivor, Brian.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy that as scummy as our characters are, that we haven't we actually did a good deed this past week. So yeah, let's hear from Lindsay.
Hey guys, I'm happy to hear that you're surviving and mostly sane, kind of, maybe a little.
Well, the characters are.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I needed to differentiate. At this point, I think when we played, I think we were relatively okay, but some of us were white knuckling it at that point, insanity wise. But I'm glad to hear you guys are all surviving. But I'm excited to hear about all of your hijinks. And I guess I'll throw it right over to Zach.
Thank you, Lindsay. And I believe Brian is going to do our shout out this week.
Yeah, I just want to shout out to Sideboard that we're allowed to go to again at Cape Fear Games. So shout out to them, and of course Cape Fear Games for opening that space. Open as far as, play space wise. Either way, just check them out. They're awesome.
Thank you. And this evening we're going to break down how we finished up the England chapter, the Egypt chapter, and the Africa chapter of Masks of Nyarlathotep. And we're going to get perspective from Lindsay, who's also played this campaign, but just not with this group. So one of the first things about this campaign is traveling from America to England. You get to rest up. Everyone traveled first class, so they got sanity back from that. And they can train their skills. In the Call of Cthulhu pulp book, they call this redlining, imitating Indiana Jones. Whenever he makes that big travel, you just see the red line moving along. What does everyone think about long-distance travel and this rules in Call of Cthulhu?
I think it's an effective feature because it's a time period that, unless you as a GM have something planned, it's really not necessary to role play out.
On the other side of that coin, you do have the ability to play something if you want to do a scenario during that, depending on how long you want the campaign to run, which is cool too.
Yep, a lot of people run Transatlantic Terror as their Atlantic crossing scenario.
Oh, that's cool. I just love traveling to England, and then everyone before we went, luckily we all thought about, okay, so we're going to England. How are we going to get all these guns? I just remember that being a discussion. And
it's very funny that you bring that up.
Yes, it is.
We were like, what are we going to do? I remember that being I just remember it being like, we were like, oh man, what are we going to do? Because I think that's going to be a problem.
We didn't think that, and it was a problem.
Luckily, my character, she was from England, and she was a private eye, so she had some stuff, put away there. But as far as going over, we were like, I don't know, what did you guys do?
We lost
some
everything.
of us hit our guns.
I think some, don't you mean 20% of the total party?
Well, you mean Dylan hiding his double revolvers in his hat?
Which has suspiciously grown larger every city and country we've been in. First it's a 10-gallon, then it's a 12-gallon. Now it's
a bigger hat.
Oh no, it's a 30-gallon with a water spigot on the top to fill up trains.
He helped out some kind villagers. It was a very pleasing scene.
Well, I did. I was able to sneak my revolver in.
Nice.
It was only a little 32.
But still.
The other way we got around it was buying some sporting shotguns when we were out in the country.
Oh, there you go. For sport.
For sport.
For fox hunting. That's right. Yeah, foxy, foxy, foxy.
Before moving deeper into the England chapter, Lindsay, do you want to discuss how you burned Ian on a place to stay?
Yes, so we got like I said, my character was from London. We went to London. And Ian's character and my character, let's just say they didn't get along very well. And his character asked mine, what's a good place to stay? I know you'll know the nicest place to stay. I want the nicest place to stay. And I was like, okay, I'll write down a place on a piece of paper and you can go there and make I'm sure that you probably won't need a reservation. You'll be fine. And I was like, Zach, I write down the absolute seediest, worst place that he could possibly stay in London that I know. And I'm a private investigator. I know really, really horrible places. I'm going to send him to the worst one. And then I had to roll, or we had to roll, and I won. And so he went to like this horrible, horrible, horrible seedy motel in London, and it felt so good. It felt so good, the bastard.
And Thaddeus Murdoch was fine with it because it just rolled off of him, but still.
Yeah, but because he's Teflon, that asshole. Nothing bothers him.
I was gonna ask if that's who I thought it was, but
yes,
I'm really
that's
glad
who it was.
Fantastic.
Yep.
No, Ian got back at her by breaking into her home and hiding the demon statue.
What?
Yeah. So I sent him to a seedy motel. He puts a demon statue in my room. Jerk. I mean, I love Ian, but it's fun. Oh, God, I could. Oh, anyway.
And then one of the starting locations you're given before you leave New York is like, hey, Jackson had a lot of contacts with the newspapers. Why don't you check out The Scoop with Mickey Mahoney?
Oh, yeah, The Scoop.
You have The Scoop, and this is ragtag, almost
Tabloid?
tabloid. I was thinking of I'm blanking on the name of the tabloid, the really famous one.
Oh yeah,
National Enquirer.
National Enquirer. Yeah. It's like 2 degrees up from National Enquirer, 1 degree from being British, and 1 for like having like that much more class.
Yeah, I forget what the famous like early tabloid in Britain was. I forget.
You guys go there, and there's 3 newspaper clippings. However, I always take out one because it's a side adventure. The reason why I take it out is it's about werewolves, and it's not set in England. And while fun, it has nothing to do with the campaign.
Werewolves?
Well, it's advertised as werewolves. It turns out to be something else.
No. Okay.
Well,
That's disappointing.
we had enough trouble staying on task without
Oh yeah, no, that would have completely thrown everything. Yeah, no, it's a good idea.
But the first one's about these crazy paintings that have an adverse effect on people. And everyone's like, ooh, let's go check out Miles Shipley and his crazy paintings.
Which we did.
Yep.
It smelled funny.
Yeah, everyone gets to go to Chelsea, but Chelsea in England, not in New York. And get to knock on the door, and the little old lady comes up. Oh, hi, dearies. Come on in. You're buying paintings from Miles.
Mm.
And then RC's not wrong. There's a spot hidden roll for you, like, man, it certainly smells specifically like the reptile house in this building, like very specifically.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the party
that didn't stop RC.
Well, you can't stop now. You gotta just keep rolling. You gotta keep going.
Just wait.
No.
You just gotta keep pushing.
Yeah.
No, the push rolls come later. Everyone goes upstairs to see young Miles and his paintings. They're very kooky and crazy. There's a lot of, Black Pharaoh, Black Wind, Bloody Tongue,
Yeah.
random serpent person torturing people. It's a good sanity loss for all.
Dylan more so than the rest of us, but
Poor Dylan.
And then everyone gets invited downstairs for tea, and it's like, oh, you gonna buy some of Miles' paintings? And RC has made his consistent mistake. Luckily, you're breaking this rule, sir, but you're trying to hypnotize things that have more than 100 power.
sometimes you just have to risk it.
Risk the biscuit.
Risk it.
What were we gonna find out from this lady again?
I was just trying to get
That's
more
right.
info.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to
I think
make
you were
sure.
either trying to get more info or a better price.
Okay. No, I get it.
One of
yeah.
the two.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Now, RC, are you going to try that same trick in China? You might run into Carl.
If I run into Carl, I don't think I'll be doing that.
Come on, you guys don't want to go Carl seeking?
Look, if I hypnotize Carl, there's something wrong with the universe.
Yeah, you
That's
must have rolled like a 10, and he must have rolled like a 99.
Yep.
So, yeah, RC disappears. And then everyone's like, where's RC? Where'd he go? Which way did he go, George?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep. And that's when Brian actually went to look for RC, and she's like, "Oh, that lovely little man took the trash out." So Brian
Mhm.
steps outside to go check the trash cans,
Mhm.
and she locks him out of the house.
Yep. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That lady, man. That little old lady.
Well, Brian has been a good wingman to RC the entire time. Actually, he's been a good wingman to like everybody.
Good on him.
You know.
Eventually, the jig is up. Dylan, our Texan, just starts bam, 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 because that's all he does. Bam, 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 and brew drugs.
Yeah, he does that a lot
And
too.
and believes that
It's
he
a
can
living.
gain access to everybody.
RC wakes up in the basement, and there's like a stone bathtub, but it's filled with like skeletons and remains of women. He's not having a good time when he's like hung up on a coat rack.
Like on a
Comically
coat rack,
there.
like with a like with a hanger through his jacket, and he's just like hanging on the.
Yep. Exactly. But eventually, the little old lady gets attacked, and it's a oh my god, serpent person. Blah 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 blah. And then everyone's like, "Let's run! Why? Because the cops. We don't want to get arrested in England."
No, you do not.
Dylan shot her up. We all ran. Oh, that's right. He knocked out.
She injected Jen with some plutonium drugs.
Oh, good. Those are fun.
Lindsay's favorite.
The drugs from Pluto. They make you see stuff.
I don't think Jess had much of an effect except for going unconscious.
I believe there was the random episode after that, but I think that was related to something else.
Yeah, that was later when
When you guys
he
decided
attacked me.
to read books.
That's always a good idea.
It's a shame there's only one French speaker.
Oh man.
Then the next lead the party follows up is from Scotland Yard. They find out about the suspicious Egyptian murders.
Yep.
This leads them to a spice shop. Luckily, we have a person of Arabic descent who speaks the native tongue of Egypt.
Oh, good. That's helpful.
And he walked in and all swanky. He's like, hey, I want your best stuff, yada, yada, yada. Where's a cool way to hang out? Why am I telling you? Sean can tell you.
Yep. So went in there, laid the groundwork, agreed to meet up with her even at the club. So, yep. Then we got into the club. RC proceeds to try to hypnotize somebody.
Now, granted, It was somebody that was successfully hypnotized.
He was. You knocked out the bartender here because of his hypnosis, and
In the middle of
That-
service. In the middle of service was he knocked out.
yeah.
Oh wow.
So Brian comes to the rescue and jumps behind the bar, takes over all the bartending duties.
Nice.
I'm really good at bartending.
Well done.
No, Lindsay.
Gained
Better-
a
So,
whole 15
so,
in
so
wisdom.
good he has the skill now of bartending.
Hell yeah.
Better than whipping.
Yes, it's better than my whip skill.
But that doesn't stop him. That does not stop him from using the whip.
No, it does not.
It should
Um,
never stop you.
No. Thanks for the wingman, RC. That was perfect. Got him right where we wanted him.
Yep. Trapped him in, got him in.
Our secret plan of me developing the skill of bartending. Man, if I had only thought about it beforehand instead of retroactively fixing it. One of the belly dancers passes a party member a note. Ooh.
Yeah, that was Brian that she passed the note to.
Yeah. Yep. I was very popular at the bar, like after the dude was okay.
Oh, you were very popular.
So much, in fact, they wanted you to come back.
Yeah, they said that you were their number one fan.
Yeah. And they kept Brian's like, they keep telling me I'm number one. We should have caught on to that. We didn't.
I was trying to be very, very. I was like layering that on pretty high. I was like, "We love you, Brian. Never leave. In fact, stay here overnight."
In fact, you never leave. Just basically everything except locking the door.
But yeah, everyone leaves and they go to this secret meeting. Well, not everyone, but you know.
The Texan, of course, is trying to find a reason why to shoot everybody.
He was tipping the belly dancers.
That
No,
was
no,
the
that's
that
night
was-
two. We gotta get to night. We gotta get through night
Oh,
one
I'm
first.
Oh, you're right. My bad. Sorry.
Oh, so we go there, and Brian has a midnight liaison with a belly dancer.
You were popular.
Yeah, she tells me that they are that her husband is missing, and that they take people from the club like
Yeah.
upstate in a truck.
Right off the bat, she friend zoned you, just like that.
Yeah,
I have a husband.
Yep.
not the first time.
So where Lindsay's group diverged from this is her party was able to capture one of the people following the belly dancer,
Yep.
and they take him into like an abandoned Catholic church and start torturing him under the rectory. And then like Ian is like, "Hey, let me hang with him, get like prison mate buddy with him."
Oh Jesus.
And it doesn't work out, so they drag him to the altar, and they end up killing him right there. And Pat's right there as a Catholic priest, and I'm just like, it's like, you know, God is right there.
Yeah.
Like as a Catholic, God is like physically right there,
yeah.
He's in you're in his house murdering people.
It's his house.
like right in front of him.
Yep. Right in front of his salad.
We took a different view. Instead of capturing somebody, we let our person be captured.
Yeah, instead of not going back to the clearly cult rendezvous location, let's go back a second night immediately.
And Brian, of course, shows up to work.
He's the fancy backup bartender.
Well, you gotta.
Right. I was hot. I was a hot bartender for a night. I could do it again, for
It's
sure.
like cocktail.
Exactly.
I love it.
Brian went from being Indiana Jones to Tom Cruise. It was quite a character leap.
Yeah, that's when our Texans started tipping and giving money to the belly dancers, and everyone was like, "No, man, you can't do that here."
Can't I get a lap dance? Money talks the universal language. That's when they threw him out.
Ah.
In his white suit.
Yep, and his white cowboy hat.
Wow.
And then everyone else has to leave at closing, but Brian has to clean up because he's the new guy. And they make him carry all these heavy crates down this ladder. And then all of a sudden he's in the cell.
Oh God.
And he turns out he's finding out it's very Egyptian. It's a pyramid scheme.
I mean, they provide it's company housing. Like that's not like the worst thing ever, right?
I can think of other things that have happened that had company housing that were.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Jess and RC and I decided we've got to rescue Brian. And Jess' character is a French pickpocket and thief.
Nice.
So, and this party has like buku stealth skills. Everybody has stealth.
Like, isn't like the lowest stealth like a 30?
No, it's a 45.
It's a 45.
Wow.
Jesus.
It's fine, yeah.
Jeez.
And two of the players, myself and Jess, I have a 66 or a 68, and Jess has
She has like a
74,
75.
75
Good God.
in it.
And yet, only one player has a psychology above 10.
Me!
Which, by the way, that check comes up a lot.
Yep.
Yeah, it does.
And so Captain Hypnosis has the psychology skill.
That makes sense.
So Jess and I sneak up to the door. She starts picking the lock. RC comes up there also. And as we're picking the lock, we realize there's a monster moving around inside. But unlike normal, people, we decide, it can't be that bad. Let's just keep picking the lock. So we get the lock undone. And that's when the big monster decides to wedge itself in the door.
And in my fright, I flashbanged everybody.
Yeah,
Threw cards.
RC took some sanity damage, basically threw all of his magic tricks at once.
Oh my
Well,
God.
he did the flashbang with the flash paper first. And that actually lit him on fire, I think, a little bit. I think he took like 1 hit point of damage and lost his sight for a
Something
moment.
like that.
And then Jess and I are trying. Jess shoots the Stantec with her 2-shot Derringer, and I try to fight the thing off with my reinforced cudgel cane.
Leading to pink. Oh.
Yep, it's got armor. We can't penetrate it.
But at least it can't easily fit through the door.
Right. Well, then, as she's trying to shoot it, that's when RC decides, because he's freaked out from seeing us, he's like shooting like 52 pickup cards into her face and stuff like that, and doing all these magic tricks randomly around in a circle. So Brian decides that he's going to pick locks on the cell. Now, Brian doesn't have pick locks.
Oh no.
Lindsay, do you know what locksmith starts at in Call of Cthulhu?
Is it? I don't. Is it 0?
No, it's very rare for anything to start at 0. It's 1.
Is it 5? Is it 1? Oh, okay.
It's 1.
Okay.
Brian, how much luck did you dump down that check?
I think it was like around 20. I think it was over 20.
Oh my
I think
God.
it was 21 points, because I think it was
21 points.
22.
Yeah,
That was the
something like
closest
that.
roll you got.
It's like, well, I could do it. Yeah, and I did it, and I got everybody out, fortunately, and attempted to burn down the building.
Of course, as you do.
Then the only route of escape was because the gigantic demon monster was wedged in the door for most of it, was to break the window and get everybody out of the window.
Now we need to cue the Sarah McLachlan music. The arms of an angel. As the Shantak bursts through the window and flies into the England sky.
Because
Great.
when Brian broke the window, he broke the sealing spell that kept the Shantak confined in the bar.
Oh. Well,
Born free,
You
as
win-
free as the grass.
you win some, you fucking lose some, Like,
Yeah. Yeah, like
You
how
do
was
what
I
you
to
had
know
to
that?
do.
Yeah, how did I know that it was the glass that did it? Why is
Yeah,
it in
no,
the
there's no way.
know?
I would. Yeah, no.
No, it was also good for RC. He's just randomly out there. They're at the Savoy. They're at a very fancy hotel. And he's like looking out the window and he literally sees like someone get like thrown into the Thames. He's like, okay, don't go out at night.
That
And
was
I don't mean
before the Shantac.
and I don't mean kind of thrown. I mean like yeeted into the Thames. Like launched.
I
Full
just
yeet.
politely told everybody, don't go outside. I don't mention what I saw. Just don't go outside.
Don't go outside.
Not good. Not good at all. Don't recommend it at all.
And then next up in the investigations, we go to the lovely Pinhue Foundation. And both parties kind of mirror each other here. It's just, oh, we're going to come in and have like polite tea. Edward Gavigan's going to talk to everyone very smarmily. Like as you come into his office, oh, I accidentally left my safe open with all this money in here. Let me politely push that closed. And he tells you a lot of flim-flam. Yeah, Jackson Elias is full of crap, and nothing bad has ever happened in Egypt.
Weru was just a,
There was no war in Bossing Say.
Yeah, that African woman had nothing to do with the expedition and just stole money and left.
Yeah.
Just a disgruntled servant.
However, RC was able to redeem himself.
Yeah.
I did hypnotize someone with 100 power? 150?
Over 100, yeah.
Yep.
And successfully learned some useful information. Kind of useful.
Sick.
Well, more useful than you getting trapped or taken over by something.
Which both have happened now.
And then kind of mirroring the original your group, Lindsay, is, hey, it's the Midnight Break-It.
Oh, yeah.
Where I recall your party had a whole bunch of chloroform and like knocked everyone out and threw off all their shoes.
We did have a bunch of chloroform. Yeah, we did.
However, we'll have RC tell the story about a critical fumble for the what is it, stealth?
Yeah,
No,
and
the
then
lock.
the locksmith. No, the locksmith passed.
Oh, that's right.
it was a fumble for the stealth, and then immediately a critical success for the melee attack directly to the guard's testicles. And the disabling of his ability to have children in the future.
Yeah,
he took like 8 damage to the crotch or something.
Fighting brawl 1. Okay, that's 8 to the groin. Let's roll that con check. Yeah, he's 1, never having children. 2, definitely passing out.
Oh man.
One of the best part about it is like Jen is like picking the lock. And of course, you're on your knees when you're doing it because where the lock is. The door swings open for the guard to come out and get cigarettes. Like, well, the dick's right there. Well, bam!
From like the 5 foot tall French woman just destroys this man.
Amazing.
Yep.
So we tie him up.
Don't take his shoes though.
Don't take his shoes.
We hog tie him and stick his socks in his mouth.
Oh, I'm forgetting. No. Lindsay's group didn't not only took their shoes. Did you guys like open their mouths and pour alcohol down their throats so they get fired for being drunk on the job?
We did. I'm pretty sure we did that. Yep.
Was that
because we're
Thaddeus'
assholes.
idea?
It might have been Rob's idea. I can't remember.
I think it was Rob's idea. I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure we did that. Yeah.
And everyone checks the safe. Hey, look, it's marked bills. Hey, let's leave those because we're not completely stupid. There's a cool looking photo of a house on the desk. Let's look into that later. Ooh, there's a secret passage through this wall leading to another secret passage. And there's some cool books that are found. Brian gets his bath time buddy.
Robert Cthulhu, you're the one. You make bath time so much fun.
It gives Brian 10 more magic points.
Yes, it does. And those came in handy.
Yeah, in Egypt they did.
Yes.
And then, people escape. following this, there's the Ivory Wind. This is this ship that's moving a whole bunch of goods across for the Pinyu Foundation to China, Egypt, Shanghai, and Australia.
Oh, I have to interrupt here because yes, Brian got his bath time buddy, but we also took all the statuary that we found except for the bloated woman. And Brian was seriously
that thing was like 800 pounds or something stupid.
right,
Yeah.
but Brian was seriously trying to figure out a way that we could get it on top of the car and take it with us. Also, Brian has a thing for statuary, which will come up again in Africa
And in Egypt.
On the Ivory Wind, there were more statues that Brian also took. This is also where Ian got the devil statue to put in Lindsay's apartment, her flat in England.
Yeah.
So there you go, Lindsay. That's where that came from.
Cool.
Yeah,
Asshole.
we didn't go on the we didn't check out the Ivory Wind until it was in Cairo.
True, but the same stuff's on there.
Oh yeah, but I'm just saying that's when we got to it. But that's where Brian found the really nice pair of socks.
The man suck.
No,
yeah,
that
made of human skin.
Was that in? I thought that was in. No, it was. Yeah.
It was from the ship.
Yeah, it was.
Nice.
There's the trucking company. You guys didn't deal with the trucking company, but Ian did infamously.
Yes, he did.
Like our buddy Dave's like, I'm gonna break into the car and steal all their logs. And it's like 8 a.m. So the truckers are gonna notice that. So Ian goes in the office, he gets in queue to wait in line, and then he immediately cuts line, takes his cane, all the papers on the desk, just sliding them around like they're nothing. And then banging his cane on the desk. Which one of these useless forms can I fill out to hire one of your trucks? You know I'm Thaddeus Murdoch III. You may have heard of me. And my running gag was if this was a silent movie, you would just see panels that says swearing in Cockney appearing.
Yeah.
That was in England, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, because we didn't deal with the trucking company. We went to the safe company.
Not a safe company, sir.
Oh, the manufacturing company.
The guys that Gavigan bought the safe for. RC also pulling in clutch again. Using his mighty hypnotism.
Just a polite, why don't you just give us a chance to look over those documents? We think we want to build one of these too, and possibly hire your services.
In the safe. Let me just open that up and give you everything in it. Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
Worked nicely.
However, part of this section also involved the party moving from inside of London into a more residential area in Derby. Everyone elected to read books.
Well, that's also around that time. Actually, I think the reading books happened before we went to the manufacturing company.
It does. That's why I'm combining it now. Then I'm coming back to whatever happened to you in the car.
Yeah. Because that's where Jess lost her shit and got me.
Oh, wow.
Lost her shit and went into a killing rage for 10 rounds.
Holy shit. From reading one of the books?
Yes, reading one of the books. And because I was polite, it's she doesn't sleep with her shotgun. You guys are fucking lucky.
Oh.
Luckily, she only had 2 shots in the Derringer.
Oh, lucky.
Yeah, because if she had slept with that shotgun, it would be kablam! Okay, roll the new character here for that one.
Yeah. Woo! That's awesome, though.
Or it would have been, even if it was really good dice rolls, it still would have been, okay, so we're taking the British Egyptian guy to the hospital now, because he's at 1 hit point.
We'll see his character in 6 months.
In 6 months, yeah. Woo! That's great, though.
Brian rolled a 1 on his luck roll to summon the ability to read Latin, even though he knew he couldn't.
Wow.
Right.
And then,
well, then
went bonkers without screaming about Pazuzu.
Well, that was while they were in the manufacturing company getting the plans.
Yeah.
That I drove around with him screaming, "You know Pazuzu like I know Pazuzu. It's always Pazuzu."
But still stemming from him reading the book.
Gotcha.
Oh yeah. So they come back with all the plans that RC got, and they're like, "Oh, there's Cthulhu Mythos rolls looking at the plans." So I roll, and I decide to push my Cthulhu Mythos roll that I missed,
So Lindsay,
and I
technic-
fail again.
technically, you're not supposed to allow players to push Cthulhu Mythos. I allow that exception. But if you push it and fail, I go to the magic
Yeah.
mishap table and roll on that thing. And I have rolled an 18 at least 4 times on that damn table, which is pick 2 spells they randomly cast on the person.
Mhm.
Sean
Well-
got a whole bunch of organs teleported like in his arms,
Oh, this is how he got all the organs. Okay, cool, awesome.
and then they fused into his body just because of me rolling it randomly in the magic book. That's how it worked out.
Amazing. No notes. Perfect.
Got. I think I ended up with 4 noses, 1 eye, 3 tongues, an extra liver,
A brain.
an extra gallbladder, a brain, and an extra heart.
I think
Yeah.
you also had an extra eye as well. You had one
Yeah.
extra eye.
Well, now
Yep.
you have fail safes like a Klingon. You're good now.
Oh, this also will come to a head though, and literally, in Egypt too. When we get
I just
there.
think it's amazing using the random like targeting thing for the where they appeared on the body. Nowhere on your arms and nowhere on your head. It was all chest and leg
Yep. So nothing was visible.
for like 13 organs. Like, you know how like what the odds of that are? They're astronomically tiny.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh.
Moving on to kind of closing out England chapter. Lindsay's group rented a boat, snuck in at night. However, not near the new moon or full moon when you guys did. Did some sneaking around, which we're going to come back to. Our little person, because they were a dwarf, a short person, proceeded to chloroform people. They snuck through the building and like stole all the stuff they were going to need to steal because they. I think you guys went on like a random like Thursday, so there was like no one there.
Yeah.
It was just like the staff there.
Yeah.
You guys find the original warrant card for the Scotland Yard investigator, like in the basement in an area where like nowhere else could it be because there were cells in there. And you guys basically call like Scotland Yard to investigate and burn the building down. That's I think what happened.
Yep. That sounds about right.
This group went on either on new moon or full moon,
Oh no.
which helped them. Most of the people weren't in the house. 50 of them were like 200 yards to the left with like burning torches and stuff
Oh, yeah.
Chantex.
and Chantex.
And sacrifices. Again, you win
Whoa,
some, you lose some.
You're only assuming there were sacrifices.
Well, there were less people there when we came back out of the building.
Maybe they're in the porta potty, man. I don't know.
Maybe they got bored and they left.
Maybe they went directly to Jesus.
It definitely
To
wasn't the
Jesus.
Chantek.
Yeah, the rapture just happened just for them particularly. But pretty much the party sneaks in. They find this cool bust of Nyarlathotep in his form of the Black Pharaoh, an unfinished letter to the Pale Viper, a letter from Omar El Dashakti being like, "Yo, dog, I want my bust back. You suck." And some other stuff. But pretty much at this point, both parties like escaped to Egypt.
Yeah.
We took a lot of statuaries with us because Brian has a fetish.
Good for him.
We missed out on another mask for the collection, though.
It was a mirror. You missed out on the mirror.
Ah,
You guys did take the chronometer, which both groups did that. Get their
Yep.
clock collection going.
Yeah, we got 3 clocks so far. 3? No, 4.
You would have had
we're at 3.
2 now because this is England. We're going to get to
Right.
Egypt.
I
Because
don't
there's
know
no
if we
clock.
got
There's no clock that you got in Egypt.
right. That's right. It was Africa.
Yeah, not that there's no clock in Egypt. There's just no clock that you got.
Yep.
So yeah, the party gets to Egypt. It's kind of the same conversations. Like, okay, let's maybe work it out so we can get our guns in. Sean was able to work that out because he's an Egyptian national. There's an initial discussion. Okay, let's look into Omar El Dashakti. Once again, Sean being an Egyptian national is like, okay, I'm going to go to the Department of Interior. I'm going to find out some stuff. And his contact there basically just shows him like a folder of ashes. And the expert is like, yeah, whatever papers we get on the guy, they burst into flames like 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
Which I think, Lindsay, I think your group never even met that guy.
No, that doesn't sound familiar to me. Yeah, I don't even think we got there.
He's bad news.
He's like a 200-year-old wizard with a demon cat.
Oh shit!
God, we
Yeah,
didn't meet him.
we totally missed that part.
Well, we went around and we snuck on board the Ivory Wind at that point, and we
Stole the stuffs.
Yep, stole the stuff, and then we went around and did our investigation into all the things in the area there.
Yeah, you guys found the Burn Man that used to have a shop over there, and he had to move shops. He meets you in a mosque, lets you know, like, hey, some crazy stuff's going on in this mosque over here. Also, I no longer have those kind of artifacts, and this is where psychology matters. RC didn't pass the roll, but he would have told the party that he stole the artifacts from Omar El Dashakti, which is also like, hey, I'm not really into the stuff like that anymore because I nearly got burned alive. So,
well, when he told us that there was a mosque that was against the Black Brotherhood, that's when I went to the mosque, and then through our discussion there, found out I had a spell that they were desperate for. There's the enchantment of sacred fire, I think it is, or something like that.
that's pretty close, yeah.
And so together we all did this ritual because they had the girdle that would help resurrect the queen or whatever, Nyarlathotep's queen, the mummy.
Necresis, yeah.
Necresis, and so we destroyed the girdle, enchanting a scimitar and such, and then they had a moment of, come to Allah, and I accepted, and so now I bear a magical scimitar after that whole ritual thing.
In the name of fighting evil.
Yep.
And you lost all your mutations.
Yeah.
Because Allah was looking out for you.
Burn me pure, kind of thing.
The party also met Warren Bassart.
Yep.
The
We got
Frenchman.
silk suits.
And then we met the old lady that has the stone.
Well, that was after talking to Warren, who discussed hey, the Carla expedition disappeared into this pyramid. No one knew where they were. I went to go find them, and people were getting gobbled up by the sands of the desert. And then I saw 1,000 sphinxes in the sands. Then you guys went to meet the old lady because you got told by 2 different people about her.
And she gave us a stone from the Red Pyramid.
Well, half a stone.
Yeah. And that's when we decided to take the boat ride, right, guys?
We had a little escapade on a boat. We did.
Yeah, they take a little boat. They take a little boat ride to Giza. They're like, ooh, there's this hidden chamber where a mummy got stole. Let's check it out.
I remember there being a whole lot of nopes as we were walking around.
And then
is that a pool full of leeches? Yes.
We're getting there,
Nice.
sir. We're getting
Oh.
there.
Nice.
So, Lindsay, you would remember this part. They get into this great chamber under Giza. There's a 7 by 8 by 30 pool of leeches, something ridiculous like that.
It was big.
It was big swimming pool full of leeches.
Yep.
There's a staircase that leads down into just red mist.
Dylan was trying to figure out a way to explore the Legion.
Till I let them know it was like 20 feet deep. They find a sarcophagus on like a stand, and then there's several altars, technically daises. And then above that, there's like a small step into this carved obsidian double throne that looks really messed up. And then behind that, there's a door to nothing. And then to the left of that is this little like archway that leads to a little obelisk. And Lindsay's group went over to the obelisk. Pat in this group was the one that could speak. It's like Pat in this group was the one that had really good occult.
Yes.
Ian's character was the one that could speak ancient Egyptian or read hieroglyphics. The combination.
Yes, he could. Yeah.
So it was the combination of roles of Ian translating, Pat figuring it out, and then Ian going, "Oh, this button? Oops!"
Yeah.
And they get teleported. And they get teleported right in front of the Sphinx, the actual location.
Yeah.
And no one was around the Sphinx at the time, minus those two. And it elected to turn them into pancakes. This is where I allow, even in my non-pop games, if players have at least 30 lucks to spend all their luck to survive. They did. They woke up back in the little nasty chamber, no luck in hand, but not crushed by a giant Sphinx monster. Following this, everyone gets sucked into the hole in the back of the room, and then they wake up in a new location. There's a crazy map on the back of the wall. There's some Egyptian words on the wall too. There's kind of a astrological chart and 9 candles. I think RC figured out the time frame table. Everyone else looking at the map figured out, like, oh, that's clearly Australia and that's clearly China.
Yeah, my recent obsession with the moon phases has suddenly helped out.
Yep.
And in Lindsay's group, Rob's like, that's a pretty dope looking chair. I'm going to go sit in that chair.
It was very differently. Yeah, he's like, hey, that's a really cool chair. I think I should sit in it.
Rob gets possessed by Nyarlathotep.
Yep.
For Sean's group, they just saw him like just sit down in his chair like normal.
Yep, nope. No.
And then both parties were offered whatever they wanted, and all they had to do was step into a portal for Nyarlathotep. We're going to do Sean's group first for the more anticlimactic answer. What happened, guys?
We took the deal.
Yep.
All of them.
All of them.
Yep. Every last member of the party.
I love it.
And then Sean and RC saw me closing the books. Like, oh no, never mind. We didn't know the end of the campaign.
Can we just hit a reset and say we didn't?
I love it. You're just closing the book.
He's like, okay, campaign over. We're like, RC and I are like, fuck.
You guys know when it's over, if we're all alive, it's actually like, no, that was part of the plan. You guys died in Giza.
That's the deal you made. This is all your dreams.
Yep.
No, I was a polite person and allowed them to, because it was like a minute, go back in time like a minute. Nyarlathotep mocked them, and then they get to leave the chamber. Lindsay's group. A little different. Went down a little different.
Yeah.
I recall Luke definitely took the deal.
Yes, he did.
You considered taking the deal.
Yes.
Like you were on the fence, but you considered taking it. To the which you wrote your wish down, and you're like, no.
Okay. So Zach's like, all right, write down whatever your biggest wish. And what? How did I word it, Zach? It was like,
I wish
want my
my
dad to
father
be
was
free.
free.
I wish my father was free because my father was in prison. And I wrote that and I handed it to Zach and I went, as soon as he opened it up and looked at it and then looked at me, I went, oh no, fuck, shit. I wrote because writing a wish of I want my dad to be free and handing it to Zach is like, well,
Well, Lindsay, also factor not just me, the bean granting your wish.
yeah, that was a big regret. But luckily, I think that's one of the reasons I didn't take the deals because I was like, well,
Well, Dave also helped you at the last minute because he's like, I'm going to take the deal. Walks up because Rob had already been kicked out of Nyarlathotep's chair, so it was Nyarlathotep
Yeah.
there.
yeah,
Dave's like, gotcha! Sawed off! Ba-blam!
yep.
And he didn't like that, and he threw a
No.
beam at Lindsay, and Lindsay's like, hey guys, I can't take 20 automatic damage because my HP pool is
It's
not
like-
20.
Is not 20.
I think it was like 13. You're like, I'm going to use all my luck and get like thrown out of the chamber.
Yep. So it was almost vaporized.
And
Almost.
then, yeah, Nyarlathotep's like whirling on the ground and becoming the bloody tongue. Dave fires like a couple other shots while everyone's like running out of there. Thaddeus Murdoch, who had no luck at this point, lost like 90 sanity and went completely bonkers.
Yep. He was gone.
That's actually where he leaves the party.
Mm-hmm.
And then both parties got to share the fun thing of like literally skedaddling out of Egypt with Nyarlathotep in the crowd like all the time behind them.
So yeah, went a little differently.
Which, like, had this been a movie, I'm pretty sure like the climax of that section of like fleeing Egypt would have been like fuck. Just
Well, yeah, it was
endless.
straight up like it was like running like the mummy. Yeah, we were out. Like it was like, yeah. And kept seeing the pharaoh everywhere on our way out.
Just as a
Nailed it. I feel like we did it. I feel like we got it. I feel perfect.
just as a short pause here, I should have done this for England. What did everyone feel about England?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. We had a good time.
Oh yeah, I really liked being. I liked England. It was fun.
I enjoyed England. I think we struggled a lot in England, compared to like how we left New York. But at the time, now I mean it was still fun, but we struggled.
And
Yeah.
then similar question for Egypt. It's widely considered to be the overall climax of the campaign. It's also the section where the gloves come off. How does everyone feel about those interpretations of that chapter?
I would.
Accurate. My ass almost got vaporized.
I mean, it gets
I will-
gets turned up very quickly.
Yeah, it's like it goes to 11 pretty quickly.
But I will say also in Egypt that our group, our skill set was much more usable in Egypt than we had been in England. Because Brian was an archaeologist, I was an Egyptian citizen that was an antiquarian. You know, we had a French thief with us, a hypnotist, and the Texan and with us. And so, I mean, we were much more. I think our trademark is just our stealth factor. Because Zach has said on a couple of occasions that he's like, yeah, you may not have hit every target, but nobody really still has like gained you as like, you know, these guys are meddling, you know.
Oh,
We had
everyone
stayed
knew we
below
were
the
meddling. Yeah.
We had stayed below the radar.
That's awesome because I'm pretty sure everyone and their mom knew that we were meddling.
Well, Lindsay, the major difference is they only really knew that when you guys got to Egypt. For this party, as soon as they got to Africa, they knew. Like as soon as they get to Kenya, the cult knows.
As I recall, it's coming up, but we'll get into that.
Yep. The party gets to Nairobi. It's like get to Mombasa first. Nairobi's where they're going later. They get on the train, and then RC's out there getting the smoke and gets lit on fire.
It was very upsetting.
Just
Also, the
like,
the roof of the train they were on fire. It was star vampires.
oh no.
I thought that's what they were.
Oh no. Shit. Oh, it's
Yeah.
bad.
RC
real
took
bad.
like 6 or 7 damage. Yeah, it was not nothing.
Oh,
It was
Oh,
8
no.
damage, or no, 6 damage. You're right. Yeah, it was
Oh, that's
that was
real
pretty
bad.
messed up.
yeah, that's fucked. Oh,
Didn't you
But-
take an additional point of damage because somebody fumbled their fire bucket roll and hit
Yes.
you with the
Yes.
bucket?
I was smacked in the face with a bucket of sand.
Kind of adding, vinegar to
You
the
know-
wound kind of thing.
Do you know my track record with being fumbled by other characters? I've been hit with a whip. I've now been hit with a bucket full of sand. My luck is just not there for me.
poor hypnotist.
Just down on his luck.
The
Yeah.
disaster.
Well, that is one thing. All of our party is low on luck. Sanity, we're not too bad on. Luck, yeah. I think we have like 4 characters below 30.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Um,
Or put another way, I think 2 are above 30.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think Doug and I both have like 40 something
40
luck.
Yeah.
I think Jess might have finally made it to 30 something, and I think Brian's like 2 points away from 30.
She's at like
And-
21. I'm at 19.
Oh, that's right. You guys are like neck and neck racing for the bottom.
Yeah.
That's a scary place to be.
It is. Yes.
Well, actually, though, in RC's defense, I think he had gotten down to like 8. So
Oh,
he
no, I
brought
was
it
at-
up 11 or something.
Yeah, I was way down there for a little while, but at the time it really felt necessary that we pass those checks, and I was like,
Yeah,
Yep.
we're just like erasing it. You're like,
Well, this is also the section where like it feels more dangerous because after Egypt, you're like, okay, who's above 30? 2 of us. It's like,
No,
okay,
yeah,
we can only
no
mess up
one. Yeah.
so much.
yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I was at. I mean, after Egypt, I I only had. I think
I
I
mean,
only had like
you would have
30
gained luck because you had 0, so you would have gained
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, but I think I literally, I think I only had exactly 30.
So yeah, you would
So
have been
I
at
was-
like under 10 when you got to Africa.
Well, we were at this point of low luck when we hit Egypt.
True.
Yeah.
So we survived
Lord.
Egypt on like only 2 people having over a 30 luck, and
Well done.
Yeah. I haven't been over 30 luck since I picked that lock in England.
So
yeah, in Africa though.
So from here, the party runs into Niles Nelson. He's like, yeah, I saw Jack Brady in Hong Kong. And everyone's like, okay, got that double confirmed. Got to go to China, check that out. The party talks to the African rifles. Lindsay, this is one of your favorite parts because it's the guy with the super caliper mustache.
Oh God.
Which in the
Yeah.
book says like, if there's a woman in her party, he'll tell you whatever they want after like kissing their hand.
Yeah.
He's like, God Christ.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, it was fun. Yep, he was smarmy and
Oh yeah, he's like, we're gonna go out for tea later. It's like I'm busy. I'm married to 10 other people.
yeah. I'm totally
Nothing
married.
Nothing like having a squid with a bottle brush on its upper lip kissing your hand.
Ugh.
Huh?
Yeah, I mean, and Zach's description of it, I was like, wow. It was impressive, but
No,
also just
the image in the book's the same. It's like that thing could fly off and like attack a city.
oh yeah, definitely. Oh, and the kissing of the hand. Oh God. Ugh.
The flavor saver.
Yeah, and then of course I played it up too, and then he walks us out, and then made a whole point of like pulling my hand into the crook of his arm, and like it was ugh. It was an event.
I think you stood him up too. He's like, we're going to be here later. Sure am. It's like, no.
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Nope.
Both parties go.
Chivalry is dead. This is why chivalry is dead.
Yeah, that's why.
Both parties go, like in Egypt and like in England, go to the newspaper, get some background information. Mainly, like, here's what actually happened to the Carlisle information. It's like, okay, there's some actual background. You guys get more information. It's like, yeah, there's no white people in these corpses, just a lot of African people.
Whole lot of that doesn't sound like the Carlisle expedition.
And then in the crowd, RC notices someone following him to the hospital. Everyone chases after them. And me as a keeper actually rolled a 1 for once, so she skedaddled away.
Into the Asian section.
And then everybody's like, let's go to this famous tea house. Oh, it's this suspicious woman. Let's make fun of her. Let's make fun of her culture and throw her tea against the wall.
No.
Whoa. That was the one American.
Yeah.
That was first a bunch of bloody tongue go into the tea house. Cultists before we do.
Suspected bloody tongue. Suspected.
Well, they all had the red bandana thing on there.
Highly likely.
You're making a fashion statement.
100% bloody tongue.
So we go into the tea house and we're trying to find where they went to because they're not in there when we go in. There was like 5 or 6 of them that went in before us. And so RC and Brian are trying to play it cool, and Brian tries to... Was it Brian or RC that opened her bedroom door?
That was Brian.
Okay.
Dylan was supposed to be like talking to her and like keeping her attention, and I was just like trying to open the door, and she caught me.
So Brian and RC go outside and around the back side of the building. Meanwhile, Dylan confirms everything that everybody in other countries fears about American arrogance.
Oh God.
Yes, he does.
Oh, the crass American.
But yeah, eventually you guys are like, hey, we'll sneak back here later. Everyone goes to bed.
And the elephant showed up. Literally the elephant in the room. RC,
appeared through my bedroom wall.
We missed that opportunity to talk. We need to talk about the elephant in the room.
Yeah, no, so an elephant literally gores down RC's like hotel wall and window.
I panic, grab my bag, and my bed is chucked at me through the hallway.
I mean, you had to make a dodge roll on that too, sir.
We
Yep.
also have to insert here. Before that, we met with Mr. Kenyatta.
No, we're getting to that.
Okay, because I have the chameleon at this point.
Yeah,
I don't know if you had the chameleon.
They did.
we
Okay.
did.
That's
So
why
I
we're going to cover that after this.
had the chameleon, and so here I am coming out of my room because it's close to RC's room, trying to get away from this rampant elephant. Is the Egyptian guy with a scimitar, the wisp, the cage with the chameleon, his pet monkey, Admiral Nelson, on his shoulder.
In a nightgown and a nightcap.
Yeah.
A nightcap, and several like bottles of gins and old tomes and scrolls.
Also looking out like the gored out window and wall, seeing like a black rhino like touring around like a shark.
And some wizardy person out there doing their hands over their head.
Quibbly flabbly do.
Yep.
Mhm.
The American finally gets to shoot a cultist.
The cultists did get to like limp off. They did live barely. Yeah, then the party goes to meet Joseph Kenyatta. They talk to him. He seems positive toward their cause. He basically connects them to his old medicine man. The party has to wait a long, long time for him to come out of his meditations, basically. And he gives like a big breakdown of like why the Black Wind is bad. and how to stop them, and by giving them the gifts of a fly catcher, which is a fly whisk. It's an African fly whisk. And this weird chameleon-looking thing, which you should feed flies to every day. And the name is She Who Is Not Who She Appears.
So, it's after all.
Leading to the end of this chapter, which is Kaiju Fight!
Well, we set off because the elephant thing happened after we did that. So then we set off and hike it up to with a guide up to the mountain with the black wind. And again, hey, we are the party of stealth. We snuck in.
Yep, but Lindsay's party did the same. You guys actually pretty much mirror each other up to a certain point. Sneak in. Hey, there's some guards. Okay, we watch the rotation. They move off. Hey, there's a whole bunch of people in cells. We're going to let them out. Hey, there's a deeper chamber. There's even more cultists. There's Mararu, who you've been like hunting down. There's Hypatia Masters, who's looking extra Cthulhu pregnant, so not great.
Oh, Hypatia.
And the party elects to release she who's not who she appears, who becomes a Gog.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. Lindsay's group was just a little stealthier at how they released it. They basically shot Mararu and Hypatia and then released She Who Waits, and then Nyarlathotep showed up. You guys just had some bad luck and Nyarlathotep showed up first.
I do recall there being a 1 that was rolled, or a 100.
For him showing up, yeah.
Yep. So he showed up and the kaiju fight ensued. And we dynamited the passages so nobody could
nice.
get out.
Yeah.
Yep. With the main difference being that Hypatia and Mararu were definitely dead for you, Lindsay, but only trapped for Sean's group.
No, we took those guys out.
But there was a big monster fight.
Yes. But kaiju fight, yes. It was awesome.
Also, anyone, like any player listening to this or game master listening to this, you can let your party sneak in there and let them try to fight it. I'm going to tell you it's a bloodbath because you have to fight all those cultists.
And there were 100 of them?
Yeah. The actual cult guards, a very powerful wizard, and their god.
Oh, yeah. There would be no coming out of that.
It's TPK City.
Yeah, no. There's no surviving that. Especially at that point. Like, there's no way.
The book mentions is like you can put on like cloaks and sit through and watch the ceremony. Like, you can do it. The sanity loss is nightmarish. Like that late in the campaign, you want to take a D20?
Yeah, and go absolutely bonkers.
I like those odds.
Never tell me the odds.
And then in closing, in general, you guys also went to Shanghai, which is what Lindsay's group also did. Which I think is fitting because Australia was added on later, like in terms of historic parts of the campaign.
Yeah.
Shanghai scares me though.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's going to be bad. I feel like this is the place when our stealth's really going to matter, and it's going to be like, yeah, they're just as stealthy and observant as you guys, and it's like, fuck.
And none of us speak the language.
Lindsay's group had an interesting conclusion, which we'll talk about when we get to that episode, but they also had a lot of money they never touched.
A lot, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Also, you guys, Lindsay, your group never ran into Carl.
Oh, yeah. No.
Who was just hanging out in Shanghai at this time, campaign-wise.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
so
no.
The big bad guy of a whole nother Call of Cthulhu campaign is just on vacation in Shanghai.
Yeah. Nope.
Carl?
Oh my god, who is that? That's Carl's
kills
mom.
I would probably fanboy if I'd met a game in fanboy if we ran into Carl.
Carl might like that. He might be okay with it. What does everyone feel about Africa being like the two-punch follow-up to Egypt? The fact that it's still dangerous.
Kind of felt like Egypt and Africa were one.
Yeah, it was very quick.
We
You
also
know, I
didn't
mean-
accomplish everything. Like, if Zach's right, those two are still trapped under there. They could potentially escape.
Well, hopefully we'll put this whole thing to rest one way or another, either with our deaths or success,
Or
just
like
before they can get out.
Or put like another way, say you did the campaign in pulp and like everyone had like a crate of bullets and like I don't know. What's the machine gun that you got, RC?
In which game?
You were considering buying it in this game. I forget what it was. An Enfield rifle.
No, we have the Lee Enfield.
Okay, but yeah, like so you're playing pulp. Like okay, you can play the let's exterminate each of the cults, and you could maybe do it in pulp. But the problem is like there's so many bodies.
Yeah.
And so many wizards. It's like okay, I think eventually like. I know the League of Nations didn't do a lot, but like eventually they're just gonna like label you like a war criminal and kill you. Like you've killed a lot of people. That's also secretly my biggest problem with like the Uncharted series. So, like, hey, it's cool that you're like Nathan, Jake, and Indiana Jones, but like you definitely killed like 40 people in Nepal. I'm pretty sure like the UN's gonna like arrest you.
Yeah. There's a lot of bodies.
There's only so it's like I was just defending myself. It's like eventually you could stop and not like shoot them.
Sure.
Like you can just leave.
Sure. I was literally 150 people that you just murdered.
Whoops.
They were coming right at me. It's like okay.
They were all coming right at me. There's nothing I could do.
Well, we're excited to talk about Egypt, and then join us next week when we cover our intro into Rune Quest. Good night, everyone, and thank you for listening.